And we are live. What is going on, guys? How is it going? You got Daisha here coming to you from Amazon, North Dakota with another daily dose with Daisha. So in today's video, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about getting organized, right? Because here's the thing. We all have our own lives, right? And a lot of the times we try to work towards our goals, try to do it effectively even, right? But sometimes we just don't get there, right? And if we're not organized, we're going to end up quitting. So this is the big thing that I want to talk to you guys about. As the title of this video says, screw Facebook, right? They tried to shut down my account. They tried to say that I was doing something with community standards on pages and groups, even though I don't go on pages and groups anymore. I'm mainly on my personal profile. So if you guys want to keep connected with me, make sure to hit that subscribe button on my YouTube channel or add me on Instagram. I appreciate you guys so much for being here. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get right into it. All right, and we are back. So as you guys start jumping on, make sure to drop a hashtag live in the comments below if you are jumping on the live today. If you are watching the replay, thank you very, very much. And drop a hashtag replay if you are jumping on the replay today. This is live on my YouTube channel. And if you want to watch the podcast version or listen, I apologize, to the podcast version, go over to anchor.fm/Daisha Hanks. So with organization, so this topic I was actually going to be pushing out until next week, but I decided to do it this week because my friend Joey and I were actually talking about how it can be kind of hard, right? Trying to get your business up off the ground, or maybe you're starting a new project and you're trying to get things going, but it can be really hard to get it off of the ground. The starting of it can be really difficult. And if you don't have a specific plan lined out, oftentimes it can be hard to actually make sure you accomplish it and get it done effectively so you can actually start seeing some success. And even when we do know what to do, right? So let's say that we do have a plan lined out. We do have like the exact goal that we want in mind. We even may know what to do to be able to get there. If we're not organized enough, then it can make it really hard not to procrastinate or overlap our schedules to where we end up not getting the actual task done. So because of that, Joey, I just wanted to dedicate this episode to you today. Thank you so much for just being my friend. You know, I appreciate you so much. You've been friends with my sister for a long time, and I just think you're an amazing person, amazing artist, and I can't wait for us to collaborate a little bit more in the future. So let's go ahead and start out with the definition, right? Because I always like to start with that because it makes it easier to kind of see what we're really trying to accomplish. So the definition of being organized is basically having one's affairs in order so as to deal with them effectively, right? I'm going to say that again. It is having one's affairs in order so that to deal with them effectively. So basically this means you have your ducks in a row, right? You hear that saying a lot. Make sure you have your ducks in a row. So you're able to get from point A to point B effectively. So if I have this goal of starting up a business, I'm able to get from where I am now to being successful in that business effectively. That's what being organized basically means. Because honestly, we have our own lives, right? Oftentimes things come up and we don't expect it. And if we aren't organized, we're going to get up. We're going to give up. I apologize. We're going to end up giving up. If we're not organized, we're going to try to be frantically getting things done on top of all the random issues that end up arising throughout our life. And honestly, from my personal experience, when I'm frantically trying to get things done, it honestly makes it a non-enjoyable process. And if we aren't enjoying what we're doing, if we're not enjoying the process of trying to get this business up off the ground, of trying to do these different things, then our minds are going to think that it's not worth it, right? And that's going to basically mean that we're going to give up. Now, one thing that I want to say here, kind of talk on a little bit, because I say with our minds not thinking it's worth it. That can kind of sound a little weird. So I want to dive into that a little bit. So with our minds, right, they have these things called neuroassociations, right? So with every single type of situation, interaction that we have with people, or any situation that we end up being in, we're either going to have a positive or a negative situation. Give me 1 minute. So with these neuroassociations, if we have a negative situation, then of course our mind isn't going to think that it's worth it. So for example, if as a child, every time that I would try to ride a bike, I would just fall, right? And I didn't have any type of encouragement from like parents or friends or anyone to say, hey, get back up and try it again, right? I didn't start out with training wheels. I just thought I was the cool kid and I was going to try to ride a bike on my own, and I didn't have a lot of support, right? If every single time that I got on that bike, I fell. I didn't have people supporting me, cheering me on. That's going to start creating a negative neural association, right? Within my mind around riding a bike. And if that happens where I create this negative association with riding a bike, eventually I'm just not going to want to do it, right? There's no point in it. If I don't get praise for it, if it's not something that I actually need within my life, my mind is going to think that it's not worth it because of that negative neuro association. And I may end up not riding a bike, right? I may end up not learning how to ride a bike. There's been countless times where people end up growing up and they're in their 30s, never learned how to ride a bike because of this exact reason, right? So that's with the negative neuro association. But the opposite can be true as well, right? So let's say that as a kid, I got praised every single time I got on my bike, whether I fell, whether I was just randomly riding it and I had been riding it forever. Every single time that I got on a bike, I always got praised for it, right? And then I started learning new tricks because I started doing it consistently. And then I started getting even more praise from like my family and my friends and anybody else that were able to see the tricks. What that would do is cause a positive neural association within my mind, and it may end up influencing me to want to end up being a BMX rider in the future, right? Those little tiny neural associations really makes it to where we stay consistent with things or whether we don't stay consistent with things. So the clear and simple answer to how you organize your life and business is to find what works best for you, right? Not for others, but for us personally. And then once we have our plan lined out on how we can make sure that we create a positive experience of how we're going to be able to make this happen within our business or whatever it may be. That way, when those bad times start arising, right? Because they're going to end up happening. When you start going towards a goal that you have in your life, when you have this vision set for yourself and you start working towards it, there's going to be these random things that end up coming in your life. And if you're not organized in a way where you're prepared for those things to happen, then you're going to end up giving up, right? We have to deal with those things going on in our life first because they're kind of critical, right? Compared to us just being in the process of trying to get a business up and off the ground. So I hope all of this is making sense. So let's talk about our plan, right? Because this is really the thing that is going to help, right? Really get us on track and get this organized. So the first thing that we need to really organize out of everything before we get into like the daily steps or anything, we need to be able to organize our time, right? Our time is our most valuable asset. And we need to understand what amount of time we are spending on things and also on the things that don't really serve us, right? So I have a free time management guide. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the description after this video so you guys are able to download that free guide. But basically, you're able to go through and figure out how do I manage my time in a way where everything is organized. I'm going to go through some of that guide with you guys today. I don't want to go through the entire thing, of course, because you guys are able to download that for free, and that would make this a really long video. So just make sure that you're able to click on that and go through that process. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen right now, and that way we can go ahead and go through this time management guide together. Here we go. All right, so you guys should be able to see my screen now. So how to section out your day to make it the most productive. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through one of the exercises that I actually have inside of this. So the first thing that we need to do to be able to plan out our time is to really figure out how much time do we have to work with throughout the day, right? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take the amount of hours that we have throughout the day. So we have 24 hours within a day, right? And then what we're going to do is subtract the amount of hours that we usually spend sleeping, right? So for this exercise in this example, I'm just going to use 8 hours because that's usually the average of what people sleep, right? So 24 hours minus the 8 hours that I sleep, right, is going to leave me with 16 hours throughout the day. Right, this should be making sense so far. If it doesn't, rewind that a little bit and replay it because it will make sense if you replay it a couple times. So we have 16 hours throughout the day to take care of everything, right? And that includes taking the kids to school, working, eating, cooking dinner, cleaning, working on your business if you have one that you're trying to get up and off the ground, cooking dinner, laundry, anything like that, right? We have to do everything within those 16 hours. Now, when I first heard this, to be honest, I got a little overwhelmed. I'm not going to lie, right? Thinking of all of that, it's like 16 hours. I don't know if I can do all of that in 16 hours. I don't know if I can go to work for 8 hours a day, plus cook, plus do the laundry, plus do da 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 da. It seems like a lot, right? But when you start breaking it down further, what's happening is it's not that we don't have enough time to do everything. It's just that we have a lot of little things that aren't serving us throughout the day, that we're spending our time on, that are equaling up to a large amount of time that we're basically wasting throughout the day. So here's what we're going to do, right? We're going to go ahead and take that 16 hours and just put it off to the side for a minute. And the next thing you want to do is actually write down every single thing you need to do throughout the day, right? That includes taking the kids to school. That means eating, doing yoga, reading. If you have schoolwork to take care of, if you feel like you have to watch TV, fine. Write down that you need to watch TV. But I want you to take care of everything, right? Every single thing that needs to be done throughout the day, or that you're going to do throughout the day, right? Write every single one of them down. And inside of this free workbook that I give you guys, I also have kind of like a spreadsheet like designed out for you guys. So it's going to be a blank spreadsheet where you guys can enter all of this in. So this is going to be an example, right? So take the kids to school, work, pick up the kids from school, cook dinner, do laundry, eat, do some yoga, and read, right? So these are all the things that I need to get done throughout the day. So if those are all the things that I need to get done, and I know that I have 16 hours to be able to get all of these things done, let's go ahead and start filling in those time slots, right? So if I have 16 hours throughout the day, what time am I going to be waking up? So for me, let's say that I'm waking up at like, I don't know, 5 a.m., right? Let's say that I'm waking up at 5 a.m. So let's go down here, and that's what we're going to write in. So we're going to write in for 16 hours, right? So 5 a.m. to, it's going to be 9 p.m., but I'm going to leave that 9 p.m. slot open. So from 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. So throughout that, I have 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. I'm going to scroll down here. And now what I'm going to do is figure out, okay, what am I going to be doing during those times, right? I'm just going to fill out this schedule, basically. I know I have to do all of these things, right? I have to take the kids to school, work, pick the kids up from school, cook dinner, do the laundry, eat, do yoga, read, right? So when am I going to be doing these things? Well, at 5 a.m., I'm going to wake up. After I wake up, the best thing to do is do some yoga, right? So now I'm getting rid of doing that, right? So now I got rid of yoga. 7 a.m., I'm going to go ahead and take the kids to school. So now I'm going to be able to take care of that. 8 a.m., I'm going to go ahead and go to work. So from 8 a.m. until about 3 p.m. is usually when I'm at work, right? So I'm going to go ahead and take that one out. Then I get a lunch break, of course, right? And that's where I'm going to go ahead and eat. So I can take that one out. Isn't that crazy? All of these things end up working out pretty well. 4 p.m. I get off, or 3 p.m. I usually get off. 4 p.m. I got to pick the kids up from school. So now that is taken care of. Once I pick the kids up from school and we get home around 5, I'm going to go ahead and start cooking dinner. Boom. While dinner is cooking, or after dinner, right, I'm going to go ahead and eat. That takes care of eating again. 7 p.m., I'm going to go ahead and start the laundry. That should take care of that. And while the laundry is going, or while I'm relaxing after laundry is done, I can just lay in the bed and go ahead and read. And that literally takes care of my entire schedule. So what you guys will see is it's not that I have to, have more hours throughout the day for me to get everything done. It's just that we have to be able to section out our time, figuring out how much time we have, and then being able to actually organize that in a way where it's going to be able to be effective and actually help us. So that's basically it for that exercise from the time management guide. Obviously, there's some other practices in there that you guys can use on that, but it is going to be really just downloading the guide and going through it, right? So let's go ahead and go through the next one here. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen. So now that we have our time organized out, the next thing that we really need to do is we have to figure out what our vision is, right? That's really what it's about. If you don't know where you're headed, right, you have enough time to complete you spending 2-3 hours a day on building up a business, right? You have your time sectioned out now. You have to figure out what it is that you really want now, right? That's really the key. What is your very, very clear vision of exactly what you want in life? Because if you don't, right, if you don't know where it is that you're headed, you're just going to be doing a bunch of little action steps and not really knowing exactly where you're headed. My mentor explains it, and I talk about this all the time. It's like being in a Ferrari and going 200 miles an hour, but not having a destination in mind. What's the point, right? What is the point if you're doing that for months on end? If you're doing that for years on end, but you don't have a destination in mind, you're basically just wasting time. So your next step is really to figure out, what is your clear vision? What do you want to do in life? Once you have that, right? Once you have that answer, your next step is to ask yourself these questions. So for example, let's say my vision, right? My goal was to make money online with YouTube and with the cryptocurrency space, right? That's a very clear vision. I want to make money. I want to do it with this and this, right? Very clear on that. Groove Treasure TV, appreciate you. I clearly see a transition to full-time online marketing. Awesome, awesome. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. All right. So let's say that the goal was to make money online with YouTube and crypto, right? The question that I need to be asking myself now is this. Well, what is required for me to get there, right? If I already know I have enough time for me to be able to take care of everything, right? I already know that I have this clear vision of what I want. The next question is, what is required to get there? Like, how do I get from point A to point B? Well, if I'm going to be able to do that, basically I need to figure out, how can I make money in the crypto space? How can I make money with YouTube? Well, I'm going to start doing my research. How can I make money with YouTube and get up to 1,000 subscribers? For me to be able to make money with YouTube, you have to hit that 1,000 subscriber mark. With me to make money with crypto, right? I need to make sure that I am either educating myself on trading or having someone else trade for me. That should be able to get me to where I want to be. So now I know what's going to be required, right? The next question that you want to ask yourself is this: how, right? How do I obtain the above? So if I want to get up to that 1,000 subscriber mark and I want to educate myself in the space, how do I do that? Well, what I'm going to do is start researching, right? So what can I do to get up to that 1,000 subscribers, right? What can I do to be able to accomplish that? How am I going to be able to get there? Well, if I start researching how to get up to 1,000 subscribers organically, then I should be able to come up with a bunch of different trainings. Maybe my friends know, maybe I've heard from people in the past. Maybe I can talk to people that have already hit that 1,000 subscriber mark and start asking them how they did it. Basically, what you need to do is start doing some research. The answer, right, is not going to be exact for every single person. It's going to be different for each individual person because we all have our own goals. They may be similar to other people, and that's where we can do our research and find what they did and then kind of tweak it to our own style, right? But our answers are not going to be the exact same as another person, right? So let's go ahead and go through one more scenario. So let's say instead of YouTube and Bitcoin, your answer was, well, I want to make money by selling my t-shirts online to people all around the world, right? Then your answer would be something like, for me to accomplish that, I need to figure out how I can get my t-shirts onto a website, right? How can I make sure that I can pay for ads, right? Do I have enough money cash flow coming in? Am I going to be paying for ads for it to be spread all over the world? That way I can get people onto my website to be able to buy. And then I need to figure out, well, how am I going to be able to ship these shirts, right? Am I going to be doing it myself? Am I going to be paying another company to do it, right? Basically what you're doing, you already know you have the time to be able to figure out. Now it just needs to be able to figure out, how do I actually get there? And the way you're going to figure that out is by doing your research. If you have friends that have done it in the past, go ask them, right? Ask them for some tips. Ask them for some tricks, right? If you're too scared to reach out to people, oftentimes you're not going to be able to get to where you want to be. Because to be honest, who's going to be buying your products? People, right? And if you're scared to reach out to the people, you're not really going to be able to be successful. So we're about to come to a close of this episode, but I wanted to really get it through your guys' heads today as the biggest thing to understand, right? Is there's no specific way or golden answer that is going to be given to you to help you know exactly what to do. But if you have a plan of what it is that you want, you have a vision, right? And you've organized out your time, you've organized kind of a couple action steps that you can take to head over to that goal, and you're going to continue doing your research, then you're going to be able to get there, right? You're going to find a way. Oftentimes you'll hear these stories of super successful people that said, you know, I just had this vision of what it was that I wanted to do, right? I had this vision that I was going to be successful. I didn't know how I was going to get there, but I knew I was going to. And sure enough, they failed. They did their research. They failed again. Then sure enough, they finally were able to get up to that success. Groove Treasure TV says, help others reach their goals. Go out of your way to assist, uplift, and support others to succeed. Amen, brother. Thank you so much for that message. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and hop off now. I appreciate you guys so much for being on this broadcast with me. Again, you guys can download the free guide for time management. I will add it up in the description above. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I appreciate you again so much. Make sure to add me on Instagram because Facebook is just screwing me over right now. Add me on Instagram, press the subscribe button, and I'm also on TikTok. I will catch you guys in the next video, and bye for now.